Hello, 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 ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ike Ogiamian. I'm a YouTuber, okay? Since we're on YouTube, that is worth mentioning. However, I'm also an engineer based in the state of California, but my company is international. And also, I'm in real estate development, I'm in the taxi business, and many other aspects of business world and, shall we say, marketing.
We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
Welcome to Trending Globalism. Saigal here. So we are going to talk about the election process that was just concluded in the Republic of Kenya from date 9 to, it took 7 days, from date 9 to date 13, when the announcement of presidential elect was made. So we had 22 million registered voters in Kenya. So let me take you back a little bit. In Kenya, the age at which you can be a voter is 18 years. So the population of Kenya is at 49 million, but we have 22 million individuals who have reached the age of registering to vote, or rather age of making a decision. In short, the age of 18 is where you get a national identification card in Kenya, you get a driving license, you can go to college and stay by yourself outside your parental care. So that is what I wanted you to know before we proceed. So we had 22 million registered voters, and then the turnout during the voting day, that was on 9th August, it was around 14 million. So out of the 14 million Kenyans who voted, we had 4 presidential aspirants. And the 2 who were competitive were His Excellency Right Honorable Raila Odinga and the Deputy President of the outgoing government, Honorable William Ruto. So they were the most competitive candidates, and of course we voted. The system was a bit transparent, but IEBC failed in protecting the transfer of data. So you see, the presiding officers will upload the results from the polling stations and send it direct to IEBC servers, which is in the headquarters, the capital city of Kenya, at the Bomas of Kenya. And these presiding officers were doing so from all the polling stations, which were over 45,000 across the country. So you all know, when you know more about data science, about cyber security, you understand that if I upload an item to you without any code or files, any third party can inject themselves in between and interfere with the transfer, right? So the IBC didn't put any code that no one can interfere in between the transfer of data or any firewall. So in between, some clever individual injected some data, because you could actually download from 34A, which was from the polling stations, and you could find 2 duplicates. One has more votes and the other one has less. So you couldn't actually tell which one is the original because they are duplicate. So you ask yourself one question: why do you have duplicate forms but with different tallies? So that is where the problem started from, and the IEBC chairperson is called Wafula Chebukati, decided to take a bribe from the outgoing deputy president, allegedly of 800 million. And due to that, he announced the outgoing deputy president as the president-elect. Now that triggers the other side, who is Right Honorable Raila Odinga, and he didn't accept defeat, so he is heading to the Supreme Court for petition on Monday to petition the injustices done by the IBC chairperson, because even the other commissioners the IEBC board is made up of 7 commissioners. That is the chairperson, the executive officer, the chairperson, the deputy chairperson, or the vice chairperson, and 4 other commissioners. So out of the 7, 4 refused or disagreed to the results because they knew that it was unfair. It was a lie that the chairperson wants to announce someone who did not win. Or rather, now the Right Honorable Raila Odinga and his team will be petitioning on Monday, and we're hoping for justice from our Supreme Court, led by our Lady Justice. So we're hoping that she will show a better leadership as a woman, and justice will prevail, because Kenya as a country has been experiencing election injustices ever since independence. And I think it's the right moment, just the same way we grew up and we have obtained peaceful during election and post-election, so we can also obtain election justice and become the first African country to do fair elections.
So, do you think that the Lady Justice, as you call her, also your advocate for women, do you think she will make the right choice?
Yeah, I think, because most people have been underrating her. You remember before she was appointed to be the Chief Justice, what's her name? Mother Koome. Chief Justice Mother Koome. I love you so much. You inspire us a lot as women and as young people. So last year is when she got appointed to be the Chief Justice by His Excellency Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. Because in Kenya, the president appoints the Chief Justice. And the 7 judges, the 6 judges. So there are 7 in the bench too, just like IBC. You know what is so amazing? It's the first time the bench of judges, we have 3 women and 4 men. 2 that gender role is achieved. And that is why I have so much hope in this process, because if you get more than 1 woman, they will always stand for justice, for what is right. And I hope that they're going to prove the whole world that women are just people. Most women, I can't say all, but most women are people of justice. And I believe that our Honorable Chief Justice, Mother Koome, is going to stand with the truth according to the evidence that will be delivered in front of them. And it's not going to, the bench is not going to judge in partiality, but with dignity, honesty, and transparency. I have so much hope with them, because I'm a young Kenyan that I want to see a better Kenya. I want to see a country where when my kids grow up, they know what is just, what is true, and what is right.
Now, let's say in the worst case scenario, Raila does not win. Will Raila be able to run again, or will he be too old?
That one, we will leave it to him, Right Honorable Raila Odinga, to answer that, because you know, a good case scenario in the USA, 90% of presidents became president at the age of 78 to 84, except Barack Obama. So he's just 77. In the next 5 years, he'll be 84. He will be the age of when who? Was it Bush or this other guy who had 83 when he got to presidency? Yeah, so that one we will leave to him. We will interview him someday, and he will answer that question.
But you advocate for youth. Shouldn't you be supporting Raila? He's a young guy. He's 55.
I mean, maybe people should know the history of who Raila is. Raila is the man who fought for the first liberation of this country, the second liberation, and now it seems that he's still the one who's leading us to the third liberation. Because the first liberation was Kenya to become a free state. By then he was a young man. His father, Oginga, and Kenyatta, Jomo Kenyatta, the Kapenguria 6, they were the front line, and him being a young man by then, and other Kenyans who are now part of the team, him, Mother Karua, we have the governor for Siaya, he's a lawyer, he's a senior counsel, and many other Kenyans. They were the young people by then who were our age who made sure that we get that freedom. And then the second liberation is now when he was in the forefront. He was the team leader, making sure that we get a free Kenya with multipartyism, where people get freedom of speech. You can speak up your mind the way me and you are speaking at the moment, and the government is not going to come for us. And now he is still fighting for that freedom, because you remember he was detained for over 10 years. For him to fight for what we are enjoying at the moment. So I think most people don't really understand why we still support him even if we're young. It's because we feel like if we fought for all these good things we are enjoying at the moment, and he was just him, he was not the president, he was not the deputy president, he was just Raila Amolo Odinga. So imagine him being the president, what will happen? A lot of good things will happen. Actually, I believe that once he's the president, we move from a developing country to a developed country, because he's a leader with great ideologies. He has the real good leadership and governance. He has been able to do this for the last over 40 years without getting real power, that is the presidency. So if he gets the presidency, I know that it will be possible for us young people to run for presidency and have a smooth term than now, once he becomes the president.
Now, he said he wanted to give $60 to people that can't afford to live. Do you think he would have done this if he became president, or if he becomes president, pending the Supreme Court hearing?
If the Supreme Court hearing is done, and the way forward is given that the IBC do a recount, or rather the Supreme Court by itself do a recount of the votes, and Right Honorable becomes the president, let me tell you for sure, his agendas were written by Kenyans. It was not written by him. He went across the country in only 47 counties. He asked for them what they need him to do for them. And those were suggestions for Kenyans. And under the SDG goals, there are Kenyans who are living below $1 per day. So those are the Kenyans he's talking about. You'll be paying them $6 monthly in order for them to get money to run their life, to get basic food, a shelter, food and clothing. And if at least something remains, they can start by selling groundnuts or vegetables, you know, all the small businesses. And we believe that within 5 years, they will be somewhere. Those are 2 million households, according to the statistics done by World Bank in Kenya 2019. That is where he collected that data. So the 2 million households who are living below the poverty line are the one who will benefit from the $60. And that one is a positive thing, because you remember our sitting president said every day 2 billion Kenya shillings disappears. They are not accounted for. If every single day the state of Kenya loses 2 billion Kenya shillings, that is $2 million every single day, will it be hard to feed 2 million Kenyans every month $60? No, it won't. Because once the corruption loophole is closed, the 2 billion Kenya shillings that is lost every day, in a month it will be 60 billion. It will be enough.
Okay, so some people say that's the problem though with Raila. He was too anti-corruption, and that's why he lost, because the opposition may have collaborated with others. He wants to end a system which benefits the people in power. So is that really wise for him to have run under the campaign of anti-corruption?
For Kenya to progress from our second liberation, we have to be honest. Corruption is a disease which have made our economy stagnant. which have made us remain developing country. Yet the countries like Singapore, which we were in the same level during independence, have gone to developed countries. Why? It's because corruption is cut off there. So I think that is the best standard of the best leader, because you can't tell him to run on vices which he was detained for. He fought for us to be where we are. He can't, if he agrees to do corrupt dealings, then it means it's 11 years in detention means nothing. The people who die for this to happen means nothing. And let me tell you, the fight toward the right direction has never been easy. Just the same way, for you to be successful, you have to have a lot of sleepless nights. You have to put a lot of hard, smart working than the rest of people. You have to do extra than just an ordinary person. So it is for a good leader. You have to stand against all the odds, because his need to lead us is not about his personal need. It's about Kenya. It's about the common citizen who are suffering at the expense of the few who have a lot of money.
Now, the deputy-elect president, the person running under Raila, was told by the Supreme Court to have his money held by the government because of corruption. Apparently, he had over...
Not under Raila, under Ruto.
Sorry, under Ruto, correct. So, over hundreds of millions of Kenyan shillings. Unfortunately, the claim is that he had gotten that money through corrupt means. Is that true?
Yeah, it's true, because the magistrate court of Milimani, which is the court of order and the court of law in our country, ruled it out. So the judge is always right, because she's following the order and the law.
So how did Kenyans then elect someone who's deputy president? I mean, this is the deputy. The case is going to be thrown out, obviously, if he becomes president.
If they become president. But we still fight. Remember, before the constitution of 2010 was agreed, it had wars since 1980s. But we fought for it until 2010 is when all these people who were against it were like, okay, Kenyans have decided. So no matter what will happen about the outcome of the ruling of the election results, we can't just let vices be the rule of order. We should always stand with the truth and transparency and accountability of every Kenyan, not only those who hold power, but even entrepreneurs, even a young person who's running businesses. Don't involve yourself in shoddy businesses just because you want to be rich quickly. We must be accountable of our action for us to have a better Kenya.
So let's say this guy becomes the deputy president. Isn't this going to take Kenya back into a corrupt...
Yes. So let me tell you one thing. If the outgoing deputy president wins the case in court, Kenya will go back where it was 20 years. Dictatorship ruling of Moi. Moi was his first political teacher in politics, and Raila was his second political teacher in politics. And he became his own teacher for the last 10 years. So the man we are talking about is not just a symbol politician. He has mastered the art of ruling, and he will do everything in his power to get what he wants. That one is so scary for a leader.